Someone shared that Russia's foreign ministry spokeswoman said on Thursday that the storming of the US Capitol by protesters was an internal affair of America, and that the country's political setup was to blame. She said the electoral system in the United States is archaic. It does not meet modern democratic standards, creating opportunities for numerous violations, and the American media have become an instrument of political struggle. This is largely the reason for the split in society now observed in the United States. The spokeswoman also said, "We wish that the friendly American people will survive this dramatic moment in their own history with dignity." The last leader of the Soviet Union from 1985 to 1991, Mr. Gorbachev, also said in a statement, "The storming of the Capitol was clearly planned in advance, and it's obvious by whom." He also said, "It will take some time, but we will understand why this was really done." According to the media report, he also said, "The riots are not the main problem. At first glance, their mission is clear. Not everything is that simple." Someone commented, "What happened on January 6 marks a turning point in human history. Its impact is no less than the French Revolution in 1789. This incident also marked the end of American constitutionalism." Someone shared that Secretary Pompeo tweeted that he has already met with Biden's nominee for the Secretary of State in order to facilitate an orderly transition and to ensure American interests are protected abroad. He added the meeting was very productive, that they will continue to work together on behalf of America throughout the transition. A netizen commented, "Speechless, I do not want to believe the words. Are there something hidden in this message to give patriots a tiny bit of hope?" Someone shared that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi recently asked the Pentagon's leadership to limit President Trump's ability to use nuclear weapons during his final days in office. She spoke with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff about available precautions for preventing an unstable president from initiating military hostilities or accessing the launch codes and ordering a nuclear strike. According to the letter she wrote to the Democratic House colleagues, she said, "The situation of this unhinged president could not be more dangerous, and we must do everything that we can to protect the American people from his unbalanced assault on our country and our democracy." The netizen felt that Pelosi has entirely lost her mind. A Chinese netizen commented, "The pro-democracy activists who once supported Trump should reflect and apologize to America and also the Chinese people." A netizen replied, "Those that once supported Trump, whether pro-democracy activists or not, did not just support Trump himself as an individual. They supported the American values and traditions. They supported justice, they supported freedom and democracy. Even if all of his supporters are gone, those that uphold justice will always stand behind Trump and safeguard the American way of life." Someone replied, "If you were to ask me if I support Trump or not, I would say that, to put it more accurately, I support honesty, order, rules, the Constitution, the law. If you were to ask me whether I oppose Biden or not, to put it more accurately, I want to say that I oppose fraud, bribery, blackmailing, treason, sexual assault, and murder, among others that oppose the universal values." Someone replied, "Those that claimed that Trump has lost are being illogical. Trump is only one of the many American people. When someone becomes president by stealing an election, one of the many consequences is that the American people will lose their right to vote. It's also not too dramatic to say that if justice does not ultimately prevail, they will lose their country, their homeland, and their human rights." Someone commented, "The Trump phenomenon will always exist, as he has helped the American people wake up to the true threats that the nation has been facing." Someone commented, 75 million Trump supporters don't just support Trump, but more importantly, an ideal, the American spirit. The American people have not lost." Someone replied, "We don't care who becomes the president. What we value the most is the faith in a traditional way of life. I believe that just as President Trump has reiterated time and again that he has not given up." Someone replied, "I recall that earlier today I noticed that the cover of a Taiwanese magazine said, Trump has lost, but Trumpism has won. I think is quite an accurate description. Certainly he is far from perfect, but he has inspired millions of Americans to stand up for American values. Someone shared that on Friday morning, President Trump tweeted that he will not be going to the inauguration on January 20th and that the 75 million patriots who voted for him will have a giant voice long into the future. Someone replied, there will be no inauguration ceremony on the 20th, whether it's Biden's or Trump's. Not long ago, a few members of the Trump campaign team did mention that the inauguration ceremony may be delayed. Did you all forget about this? Let us look forward to seeing how everything unfolds in the days to come. Someone shared that lawyers Linwood and Sidney Powell, as well as General Flynn, all of their Twitter accounts have been suspended. Someone said the accounts of a few Trump supporters with large number of followers have also been suspended. President Trump's Twitter account was also suspended. Someone replied, I see, the big tech companies have more power than the American government. Someone commented, a few years ago, due to Chinese government censorship on Weibo, a large number of Chinese netizens began to use Twitter. It has only been a few years that now it's our turn to escape Twitter and move to Parler. It's also hard to say how long will Parler survive, and perhaps one day all the conservative voices will be eradicated. Someone commented, you once said that the Communist Party in America do not have the ability to make mass killings happen, but now what we've seen today has made it quite clear that they do not need to eliminate individuals physically. All they have to do is just suspending their accounts. Welcome to the age of digital dictatorship. The Chinese people have experienced this, but what about the Americans, many of whom do not have personal experience with dictatorial regimes? It should also become quite clear that the consequence of refusing to fight is losing freedom collectively, and the difference is just a matter of time. Eventually, the radical left will see the consequence when the revolutionaries come down on them. Someone shared that Apple is considering removing Parler from the App Store, and someone shared about SafeChat. This app combines many features across multiple social media platforms. It also has the potential to replace YouTube in the future. Someone shared that Nancy Pelosi's laptop was stolen during the unrest at the US Capitol. Someone shared that recently the Federal Communications Commission issued an EAS, also known as Emergency Alert System Enforcement Advisory. According to the FEMA website, the Emergency Alert System is a national public warning system that requires radio and TV broadcasters, cable TV, wireless cable systems, satellite, and wireline operators to provide the president with capability to address the American people within 10 minutes during a national emergency. Broadcast, cable, and satellite operators are the stewards of this important public service in close partnership with state, local, tribal, and territorial authorities. Someone shared this video clip, which is part of an interview that Trump did many years ago.
I found out a lot of things.
Did you find out who's loyal and not loyal?
I tell you what, and you can't guess it. You can't predict it. You think certain people would be loyal no matter what, and it turns out that they're not, and you just can't predict it. That someday I'd like to maybe lose everything for a period of time to see who's loyal and who's not loyal.
Someone commented, it is very impressive that back then at such a young age, he already came to realize this.
Child, we will bring you home. You'll be a flower that sees the spring.